So the final video in this session is about sharing the importance of the exhibition piece to a project. And by exhibition, I mean finding yet again an authentic way to share what students have created with the community, with families, and with friends. Um, in many ways, this is the most important aspect of the entire process because it establishes the stakes for the student to create something beautiful because they know it will be shared with the community, right? So, I mean, just imagine the level of pride and effort and interest that you'll have when you know that what you're making isn't just going to go into a Canvas submission link. It's not just going to go into a dumpster. It's going to go into a public presentation of, of to be seen by the people that these students care the most about. That's heavy. That's stakes. And it's not the kind of stakes that are painful and that hangover students. It's the kind of stakes where there's that kind of nervous and excited pride that's associated with it. So if at all possible, it is valuable to incorporate some exhibition piece to the projects that you create with students. Another really valuable component of exhibitions is that it offers a space to celebrate student work and give students a chance to feel proud of what they've built. So, you know, this is a chance for students to have something happen that hasn't happened in most of their middle school, elementary school, high school career, which is feeling genuinely proud of something they did in school as opposed of possibly ashamed of it, feeling like they weren't measuring up. If project-based learning is done well, then there's been a process of critique and revision and perfection such that the final product is something that they're really genuinely excited about sharing with the public. And finally, another really neat thing about exhibitions is it gives students' families, friends, and community an opportunity to see what their students are up to and how they're growing. Also something that's not necessarily a huge part of the traditional schooling experience. So I want to just kind of wrap up this video by sharing some examples of exhibitions that I've seen in the past that have been pretty powerful. And again, to kind of maybe light your own fires about how you might want to exhibit your own work. So I'll start again with some exhibitions that I've had. So this is the rocket project that I mentioned earlier. We all met at Fiesta Island to launch these rockets. You can see the little fellow down here. He's actually holding his dad's rocket that he built, which I think is really cute. These posters showed the process and the calculations used in creating these rockets. So this can be actually shared. So it's not just all bells and whistles and you shoot your rocket off, but you actually get to demonstrate to the community what you've learned. Again, that's powerful for having a sense of self-efficacy if you can talk publicly and intelligently about these cool things that you've built. This is a picture of the Cigar Box Guitar Project, and this group right here is giving a little talk about their guitar. She's actually performing in this picture, so it's kind of neat that you get to see the actual product and its workability right there publicly. And you see they're actually plugged in, and behind again there's these posters that show the process and calculations and basically all the hard work and behind the scenes of creating this really kind of beautiful final product. So that's that one. Here's one that I find absolutely fascinating. One of my colleagues at High Tech High actually he's a chemistry teacher and decided to teach chemistry through making soap. All right. And he didn't stop at making soap that students could bring home to their families. He actually created a student-led business with a logo and with labels a website, everything, sold several hundred to several $1,000s worth of soap per year through this business, and used the money and the proceeds to have scholarships and funds awarded to students in need. And that is just shows so many levels, first of all, of self-efficacy and what you're able to create, right? You're able to create a business, labels, artwork, the product itself, but it's also helps students get a vision for how what they make in the world can actually make the world a better place by supplying scholarship funds to students in need. So this, I mean, I think it just goes to show you an exhibition doesn't necessarily need to just be, friends and family walk to a bunch of tables and see what students have made. An exhibition could be a final product where you're actually selling it to the world and showing the world how useful and helpful it is. And finally, I have one more that I want to share. This picture here is within the USS Midway, and a colleague of mine interviewed veterans and created podcasts with them, and also these beautiful art pictures with like their favorite quotes of these different interviews. And so members of the community, friends, family, relatives, and also just random strangers could peruse this exhibition like it was a museum. And they got to see all the cool hard work that these students had done and what they've created and what they've put into the world, and what they learned from interviewing these veterans who have all this wisdom about what it's like to engage in war and survive war and live a life after war. And it's done in the powerful setting of an actual carrier that participated in war. So I thought this was incredibly powerful as well, and another kind of creative way to exhibit students' hard work that established a lot of pride and joy in the final products. So there's obviously many more. Project-based learning is now becoming a much more popular and widespread type of education or modality of education. There are many organizations that are actually focusing on providing resources for teachers who want to learn this. You can reach out to me or Melissa about other resources for how to incorporate projects in your class, especially projects that involve your own personal passions. And I hope that this session created at least a spark in you about what it might be like to experiment with bringing what you love into the classroom and how to bridge what you love with really fun, engaging, powerful projects that, change students for the better and leave them feeling more capable, proud, and more like scholars. So thank you very much for listening.